Hello there, we are the Star Wars guys, and welcome to our channel. I'm Master Paul,
And I am Mando on fire.
and the Force is family. Now, before we officially get into this video, I just want to let you guys know I'm testing out a new microphone right now. I'll hold it up here real quick. It's a simple JLab USB mic that I got at Walmart for about $60 or so, and I decided to get this basically as a backup mic in case my normal mic, which I have over here, goes bad, or I have to find an alternate place to stream from my laptop. So hopefully everything sounds good. So with that out of the way, we got a couple articles to go over with you. Both of these are rumor. We cannot stress that enough. This is rumor. It is not actual fact. But we want to talk about how allegedly both a young Leia has been cast in the upcoming Obi-Wan series, as well as a live-action Ezra Bridger and Thrawn. So we're going to get into Leia first. Now, both of these articles are coming from CBR, so take that as you will.
Yep, and like we say, this is a rumor, so as Overlord DVD says, take this with a heavy grain of salt.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to go over the Leia one first. It says, rumor, Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars series casts a young Leia Organa. An actor has been reportedly chosen to portray a young Princess Leia Organa in the upcoming Star Wars series Obi-Wan Kenobi. Vivian Lyra Blair will play Leia, according to a report from Jordan Mason of Cinelinx. Blair is known for her roles in Bird Box and We Can Be Heroes. If the casting is confirmed, Leia's involvement may reveal more about the plot of the series and the other characters and locations that it will feature. So let's stop right there, Michael. First off, what's your immediate reactions? Because what's your immediate reaction of hearing that there's going to be allegedly a young Leia in this show at all?
So, admittedly, before I get into that, I actually found this article on my For You page for TikTok. And similarly, I actually found possible rumors that we could get a young Luke because we have a young Leia. So,
Right.
I'm not totally saying that is for sure what's going to happen, but it does make you wonder if Leia is going to be in the Kenobi show, which is something we totally didn't expect. What can we expect?
Right.
Pretty much.
Exactly. And the last part of what it says there, Leia's involvement may reveal more about the plot of the series and the other characters and locations it will feature. To me, because first off, the fact that there's going to be a Leia at all in this, I think it's cool. I think it's another way that this show is going to bridge episodes 3 to episode 4, as long as the series remains about Obi-Wan. But anyways, Leia's involvement may reveal more about the plot of the series and the other characters and locations that it will feature. That, to me, pretty much confirms that if Leia's going to be in this show, we're going to see Obi-Wan leave Tatooine for a certain amount of time to go and help Bail Organa and a young Princess Leia with something. So what do you think about that idea, Michael, that Obi-Wan would leave Luke to go and help Bail Organa? As well as the idea... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I can honestly see that they could play that scene as something that's not necessarily something that Obi-Wan wants to do, but it inevitably happens. And then they could say that, oh, no, after Obi-Wan is gone, Luke is now at risk and has to go save him.
Right. So basically, it has to be something so dire that Obi-Wan, because that's his primary objective, is protecting Luke and watching over him on Tatooine. So Bail Organa must need him in such a desperate way that Obi-Wan has to go help him. That's how I read that. And then another thing before we continue on is, if they do this, obviously Obi-Wan and Leia have the potential to meet. And if they do, what do you think that means for episode 4? And I'll go ahead and go first with this one. Personally, I would be okay with Obi-Wan and Leia meeting before A New Hope, because think back to the famous line think back to that famous scene in Episode 4 where Luke Skywalker comes into Leia's cell. He says, "I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you." Leia's like, "You're who?" "I'm here to," and Luke says, "I'm here to rescue you. I'm here with Ben Kenobi." Leia immediately recognizes who specifically the name Ben Kenobi is. She may have referred to him as Obi-Wan in R2's recording, but she knows the name Ben Kenobi. So how does she know that name? Perhaps maybe a few years before the two had met, and somehow Obi-Wan introduced himself as Ben at first, but then, of course, she knew that that's Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I would say that it's almost like that they're not necessarily retconning, but they're world building some of the in-between area of episode 3 and 4.
Yeah, supplementing.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next part, shall we?
Yeah. Although details about Obi-Wan Kenobi have been kept under wraps so far, it is known that it will bridge the events of the Star Wars prequel movies and Star Wars A New Hope, in which the reclusive Obi-Wan Kenobi comes out of exile on Tatooine to answer Princess Leia's cry for help. Along the way, Kenobi also becomes a mentor for Luke Skywalker, who is beginning his own journey to become a Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi will, of course, return. Yep. Will feature the return of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, as well as Hayden Christensen as Anakin/Vader. And then it goes over the rest of the cast here. So overall, our thoughts on Leia being in this show? Honestly, I'm okay with it as long as, like I said, it remains about Obi-Wan. This has the potential to be really cool, but they also have the potential to make this more so about Leia than they would Obi-Wan, even though Obi-Wan's name is the name of the show. So as long as the focus stays on Obi-Wan, I'm fine with it. What do you think, Mike?
I would say yes. And even if they wanted to give Leia the spotlight for maybe one arc, that's totally fine as well. But just in general, as long as it relates back to Obi-Wan and his mission to protect Luke.
Right. And of course, last thing we'll say about the Obi-Wan show before we switch gears a little bit. This show is confirmed to only be 6 episodes, and it's only going to be a 1-season thing. Now, I believe each episode is going to be at least... It's not going to be the same length as The Bad Batch, where it's 20 minutes an episode, except for episode 1. It's going to be at least 40 minutes, if not possibly longer, each episode. Mm-hmm. But again, there's only 6 of them. So they've really got to use that time wisely for me. And I have said this before on Echo Base, and I'll say it again here. If they do the same thing to Obi-Wan that they did to Luke in The Last Jedi, and allegedly what they're doing to He-Man in the new He-Man series, that is my line in the sand. I will be done with Star Wars if they completely screw up not just this show, but Obi-Wan the character. But to change topics to a less depressing note, let's talk now about some other casting that has been rumored, more recently actually. And this is another article, like I said, from CBR that says, rumor, Star Wars finds its live-action Ezra and Thrawn. All right, so Michael, why don't you read this one, if you can see it?
Okay. Rumor has it the live-action Ahsoka series found its Ezra Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn. According to LRM Online, Mina Massoud and Lars Mikkelsen are set to portray Ezra and Thrawn in the Mandalorian spin-off series. It's worth noting both actors are favorites to play these respective roles, which it makes all the harder to gauge whether this rumor is based on solid intel or closer to an educated guess.
And that's the important part right there. This is not confirmed.
Yeah. So let's actually start with Thrawn, with Lars Mikkelsen, because as it just so happens, he is actually the voice actor for Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
And this isn't the first time that something like this happened, where we see a live-action Bo-Katan just so happen to be the voice actor for Bo-Katan for both Clone Wars and
the
Rebels.
Yep. In fact, the article mentions it right here. Previously, Katie Sackhoff voiced the animated version of Bo-Katan Kryze before portraying the character live action for The Mandalorian. So, just off a whim here, I'm gonna look up this guy, what he looks like, Lars Mikkelsen.
Yeah. And while you do that, I'll go ahead and show a picture of Mina Masoud, which
okay.
I'll go ahead and show that right now because the name looked familiar to me at the very least, and turns out I was right. Because if you look here, he actually played Aladdin in the 2019 Aladdin, which by the way was actually
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but in my opinion, it was actually a very good remake. But I want to say this is also a very popular fan casting as well. So it kind of goes back to what the article said about either being solid intel or educated guess.
I'll say this though, not knowing anything about what this guy has done, he certainly looks the part of Ezra. I could see him in the role of Ezra and believe it.
Yep, I'll go ahead and show a bigger picture of him.
Okay. While you do that, I've got the picture of Lars Mikkelsen pulled up here.
Yep, so I'll go ahead and take my thing down then.
Okay, so here's Lars Mikkelsen right here. And I could maybe see him as Grand Admiral Thrawn. I will say, though, even though this is not a bad casting, I think the other guy that is rumored to play Ezra, I can't really pronounce his name, I think he fits the role of Ezra looks-wise just a little bit better than this guy fits Thrawn, but that's just me. What do you think, Mike?
I would say yes, for sure. And also, I think it's good to point out that we're not seeing Ezra Bridger immediately after her season, I believe 4 it was, of Rebels. Even though that sounds pretty obvious by now, I just wanted to paint the picture that we are going to see a much older Ezra. So somebody like Mina Masoud is going to be a pretty good choice.
Yeah. So anyways, getting back, we left off here at this paragraph right here, Mike, if you want to pick up there.
Yep. The Ahsoka series will center on the former Jedi's hunt for Thrawn, building her own appearance during The Mandalorian Season 2. Last time, the audience saw him during Star Wars Rebels series finale, where a pack of Purrgil, which are pretty much space whales that use pretty much the same fuel to go to hyperspace, by the way. We're pulling the feared Imperial military commander and the Jedi Padawan Ezra into hyperspace. Picking up after the Battle of Endor, the episode's prologue saw Ahsoka teaming up with Sabine Wren to search for Ezra in hopes of bringing their friend back to Lothal.
Okay. And then it talks about his role, the actor's role in Aladdin, which we've already covered. I'll read this next part. Whereas Ezra originated on the animated Rebels series, Thrawn began as a villain in the old Star Wars Expanded Universe, aka Star Wars Legends, before being reincorporated into the franchise's post-Disney continuity. Because Mikkelsen voices the animated version of Thrawn, he's long been perceived as the frontrunner to play the character on the live-action Ahsoka show. It wouldn't be the first time, as we mentioned before, a voice actor on a Star Wars animated series reprised their role in live action either. Previously, Katie Sackhoff voiced the animated version of Bo-Katan Kryze before portraying the character in live action for The Mandalorian, and did an amazing job at it, by the way.
Exactly.
And then talks about it's going to release on Disney Plus. However, with the Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi shows all slated to premiere first, along with possibly The Mandalorian Season 3, it may be some time before Lucasfilm makes any additional casting announcements. So, what's your take on all of that, Michael?
So, kind of going back to that one paragraph where it was talking about how Ahsoka and Sabine meet. Now, obviously, we're going to see Ahsoka because the show is literally called Ahsoka. But we also have yet to see any castings for Sabine. And so with that being said, we should
Assuming
be
she's even
surprised.
going to be in the show.
Yeah. But I'm going to assume that she is just based on that scene. And so we still have a long time to go so far as castings, just like the article had mentioned.
Right. So overall, I think going off of both of those articles, which again, I'll say it again, this is rumor, not confirmed. But overall, I think those are at the very least decent, if not good, choices to play those respective characters. I say that not knowing anything about anything that they have done, but I'm excited to see what they do for it. So anything else you want to mention, Michael, before we close out?
I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, the Force is family.
The
Thank you
Force
very
is
much.
family.